Oh, I know. The situation's pretty messed up. Yeah, I know. I can't believe that happened. Are you serious? Wait, hang on. I'll have to call you back. I hear some weird noises outside.
Who is who is that? What the Okay. Oh, why are they throwing rocks? Oh my god. What? I think I need to call the cops. Um oh my god. Oh god. They're going to the door. Oh god. Who the hell is this? Who are you?
William Shakespeare was a mysterious man, but there is no doubting the impact he had on dramatic writing. He was a renowned playwright, poet, and actor. Some people even speculate that he had some careers as a lawyer, traveler, and a schoolteacher. There is no definite record of the day he was born, but it is believed that he was born around April 23rd, 1564. He was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, which is about 100 miles away from London. Shakespeare grew up as a big brother in a big family. He had 3 younger brothers and 2 younger sisters. Shakespeare was one of the few lucky boys of his time that had the opportunity at an education. He probably attended Stratford School until he was about 15 years old. It was there that he had his first encounter with literature and Latin plays. Shortly after he finished schooling, he married Anne Hathaway.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by, when hope was high and life worth living.
No, not that Anne Hathaway. This Anne Hathaway. When they got married, Anne was 26 years old and William was only 18. Their firstborn was named Susanna, and then the couple had twins named Judith and Hamnet. Anne and the children spent their time living in Stratford, while Shakespeare did his work in London. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to wake up one day and run into your long-lost twin sibling? This is the exact situation that comes up in Shakespeare's play, The Comedy of Errors. It is one of the 37 plays that Shakespeare has ever written. Many scholars argue over the date that this play was composed, but it is most likely that it was written in the early 1590s, because the first performance of The Comedy of Errors was on December 28, 1594. The play was not printed until 1623, when Shakespeare's works were collected in the first folio. One possible source for The Comedy of Errors may be from a comedy called The Menechmi, written by Plautus. Plautus was one of the most popular dramatists of ancient Rome in the 16th century. The Menechmi is a play about a pair of identical twins. One of them is lost as a child, and the other is given his name in his memory. After many occasions of mistaken identity, the twins find each other. This is precisely what happens in The Comedy of Errors. Later, I will be acting out part of Act 3, Scene 2. In this scene, Antipholus of Syracuse and Dromio of Syracuse are forced to have lunch with Adriana. Adriana is the other twin's wife, and she is unaware that she is having lunch with the wrong man. It gets a little crazy when this man, who she thinks is her husband, also starts to flirt with her sister. But before we get into all of this, here's some information about the play itself and the characters. First, let me introduce you to the twins. There's Antipholus of Syracuse and Antipholus of Ephesus. Each Antipholus has a servant named Dromio, and the Dromios are also twins. This can be a bit confusing, but it makes more sense when you learn that these twins were all separated at birth. It all begins when Aegeon and his very pregnant wife leave for a business trip. She gives birth to identical twin boys while they are away from home. At the same time, a poor woman also gives birth to identical twins. This woman sells her newborn babies to be servants to Aegeon's sons. When Aegeon and his family make their journey back home to Syracuse, they come across an awful storm. During the storm, Aegeon watches over one of his sons and his servant. The boat was then destroyed, and the family was separated. Aegeon named his set of boys after their missing brothers, Antipholus and Dromio. He raises these two in Syracuse until they are 18. Antipholus of Syracuse begins to get curious about his brother's whereabouts, so he and Dromio of Syracuse both travel to Ephesus. Meanwhile, Aegeon is pretty upset that his son left home. He is also in Ephesus looking for him, but he soon finds himself in jail and possibly facing execution. All of this leads to some pretty hilarious examples of mistaken identity in the Comedy of Errors. Leading up to Act 3 is a little confusing, but basically, Antipholus of Ephesus has an extremely paranoid wife. Her name is Adriana, and she thinks that Antipholus is always fooling around with other women. Adriana sends Dromio of Ephesus to go find her husband and send him home for dinner. Dromio runs into the wrong Antipholus and mistakes him for the wrong character. Eventually, Antipholus of Syracuse beats Dromio of Ephesus because he's so frustrated. Eventually, Adriana and her sister catch up with the two Syracusians and mistake them for the twins that they know. The sisters drag Antipholus and Dromio back to their house against their will, and they're basically confused as heck. Not only does Adriana end up eating lunch with the wrong man, but he also starts to flirt with her sister. Can you say scandalous? Sweet mistress, what your name is else I know not, nor by what wonder you do hid of mine. Less in your knowledge and your grace you show not, than our earth's wonder, more than earth divine. Teach me, dear creature, how to think and speak, lay open to my earthy gross conceit, smothered in airs, feeble, shallow, weak. Against my soul's pure truth, why labor you, to make it wander in an unknown field? Are you a god? Would you create me new? Transform me then, into your power I'll yield. But if that I am, then well I know, your weeping sister is no wife of mine, nor to her bed no homage do I owe. Far more to you I decline. O train me not, sweet mermaid, with thy note, to drown me in thy sister's flood of tears. Sing, siren, for thyself, and I will dote. Spread o'er the silver waves thy golden hairs, and as bed I'll take them, and there I lie. And in that glorious supposition, I think, he gains by death that hath such means to die. Let love, being light, be drowned if she sink.
What, are you mad, that you do reason so?
Not mad, but mated, how I do not know.
It is a fault that springeth from your eye.
For gazing on your beams, fair sun, being by.
Gaze where you should, and that will clear your sight.
As good to wink, sweet love, as look on night.
Why you call me love? Call my sister so.
Thy sister's sister.
That's my sister.
No, it is thyself, mine own self's better part. Mine eye's clear eye, my dear heart's dear heart. My food, my fortune, and my sweet hope's aim. My soul earth's heaven, and my heaven's claim.
All this my sister is, or else should be.
Call thyself sister, sweet, for I am thee. Thee will I love, and with thee lead my life. Thou hast no husband, yet nor I no wife. Give me thy hand.
O soft air, hold you still, I'll fetch my sister to get her goodwill.
After this scene, Antipholus of Syracuse is ready to get out of this crazy town. He's a bit tired of being mistaken for his brother. Before he can get too far, Angelo the goldsmith stops Antipholus to give him the necklace he had ordered for Adriana. But it wasn't he who ordered the necklace, it was the other Antipholus. Later on, Angelo comes across Antipholus of Ephesus while he is in town, and Angelo demands his payment for making the necklace. This Antipholus has no idea what Angelo is talking about, and he ends up in prison because he refuses to pay for something he never received. Eventually, all the twins end up in the same place and save their father from execution. Even their mother's there. The whole gang's back together. Yay! There are many themes to this play, but I think that the largest themes of this play are family and identity. This family struggled through the hardest times to finally be together. After an entire 18 years of being apart, the family bond was still strong. Some might say fate drove the family back together again. The theme of identity also plays a huge role in this play. With all of the cases of mistaken identity, we learn how important our individual identities truly are. Being mistaken for someone else can lead to disaster. Literary critic and professor at Yale University, Harold Bloom, gave his opinion about the Comedy of Errors. He says it is the shortest and the most unified of all Shakespeare's plays. He also says it shows such skill, indeed mastery, in action, incipient characters, and stagecraft. Bloom goes on to say the play outshines other comedies, and that it is a remarkably sophisticated elaboration of plautus. In my opinion, I thought The Comedy of Errors was the shortest and sweetest Shakespeare play I have ever read. The ending tied up all loose ends in a happy way, and I really appreciated this because most of his other plays are all tragedies. The play was easy to follow but kept me on my toes. I could have never guessed how suddenly the family would all come together in the end.